the culture you put in place when there's 7 people is going to be the culture that's in place when there's 70.
Hi, I'm Marc Randolph, co-founder of Netflix and 6 other companies. Over the years, I've heard that will never work thousands of times, but I've learned there are things we all can do to increase the chances that they will. So join me for That Will Never Work.
I mean, we've put a lot of work into creating a good culture to allow people to grow. As I say, we've built a small team. We're very confident in what we're doing. But as we get more opportunities and more users, the need to grow myself is becoming ever more apparent. I do like to embrace the infinite learning mindset, and I do my best to get the balance right. And again, without getting too far ahead of ourselves, things are growing rather quickly. I am blessed to have a wonderful family, but I have children who also need me as well. And my question really would be, sort of how, as this grows, how do I scale myself as such to be part of what we're doing?
Well, I guess the first question is whether you want to scale yourself. I mean, 'cause it certainly is totally acceptable to say that I'm great at starting things and I really have no interest in running them. And so I get them going and then I'm off to the next one. But in the event you're saying, no, I really think this could be pretty compelling, I think you're thinking exactly correctly that how to scale yourself is a big one, especially like you said, if you've got a family and you've got kids who would like to see their dad every once in a while. So just to give me a sense of scale, how many employees are there now?
There's 7 of us now.
Okay.
7 of us in the business, so there's not a huge amount, but it's good for us now.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things. One is you're absolutely right to be thinking about this now because the culture you put in place when there's 7 people is going to be the culture that's in place when there's 70. So you can't have one culture now and then decide once it's a little bit bigger, I want to change direction and do something totally different. Or maybe you can, but it's much, much, much easier to be thinking about that from now. I would, if I was you, I would really be looking at who the other people are and saying, it's not just you, it's the people around you who have to scale at the same time. And I know that your team listens to this, but are you already thinking that? Do you have other people who have the ability to scale? Or have you basically said, I understand that as I get larger, we're going to need to really add to our ranks at the management level?
So we have a core set of values as a team. There's a number of those, but one of those is we innovate as a team and we grow as a team. What I've done is with the people that have helped us to this stage and what I call the core founding team, if you will. We have set them up as senior, what we call our leadership team. So our leadership team are in place. What we have presented to the leadership team is where we can go. And where we can go is for those senior leaders and those people that know the product inside out, those people that know how to do what we do, those people that are learning certain parts of their trade are still leaders in my eyes and leaders in the company's eyes that can then drive us forward. So they're seen as senior leaders. So it's getting us all involved as part of that innovation process. But the innovation is not just the tech. The innovation is how we grow that as a team. And having those senior leaders and asking those senior leaders themselves to become infinite learners. So our sales director to learn infinite learning about the sales process and marketing and the positions that we've got, to then have those as almost cornerstones, if you will, to have to build a team underneath those. So they're bought into that. And yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to think about how to say this gently, I suppose. But what you're trying to do is really hard, which is have this group of people who are all your co-founders, who are all working incredibly hard. You're all deeply aligned, and have that be the group which continues to lead this company into the future. It's really unusual, and it's really rare, and it's certainly possible. Uh, but it's rare, not necessarily because these are bad people or that you're not a great CEO. It's the very nature of a startup that they outgrow their own teams. I mean, it really is like, a snake outgrowing its skin or a crab outgrowing a hermit crab outgrowing its shell. That you have these people who have a very, very specific expertise. And the reason that you're successful is because you have this great set of people who can wear many, many hats, who are jacks of all trades. They're not the best in the world at any one thing, but that's fine. That's not what you need right now. Right now, you need someone who can do 6 things well. And that's great. And the same thing goes for you. You have this ability to see all the different parts. You know enough about all the different parts of the company that you can kind of be managing and coordinating and all this. It's exactly what an early stage company needs. It needs the kind of people who are totally comfortable having worked for 3 or 4 weeks in a project and all of a sudden go, wait a minute, this isn't working. Okay, abandon that. Let's do something different. And do that with excitement and good humor rather than disappointment. If you're lucky, it may have happened already, but if you're lucky, you're going to get to that mythical product market fit piece where you go, wow, we really have discovered what our right product is, and we've matched it up with exactly the right set of customers, and now we know what the business model is, and oh my gosh, this thing is going crazy. And I sense that's a little bit what you're trying to anticipate is what happens if this thing is hugely successful, and all of a sudden in 18 months, I have 70 people, and then 18 months later, I have 700 people. Well, the reality is that you then have a very, very difficult decision to make because that person who is part of your senior team, as you describe them, who has worked tirelessly with you, spent nights and weekends and did whatever he or she had to do to help make the company successful and was willing to do anything, all of a sudden you're realizing, wow, I need a different level of person. I need a person not for whom a 700-person company is a stretch. I need a person for whom a 700-person company is easy because they're used to doing what they do for a 7,000-person company. Then you've got a very, very hard decision, which is my loyalty to this person? As you pointed out, we all grow and we grow together. Or is your loyalty to someone different? Which is to your investors, to your customers, to the other team members who, let's say, half of them have managed to scale and have managed to take on the responsibilities of a much, much larger company and are doing great at it. But now do they have to carry the people who are maybe not as good at it? Not because they're not good people, but again, they're in very much different skill sets. And I am warning you that as you are thinking through, do I have what it takes to manage this? That is, in my experience, the hardest thing of being successful. Because believe me, you bring that person in and you sit them in the chair next to your desk and telling them, you've done an amazing job making us successful, but you're not the right person for the next stage of our business. And now here's the real message for you, Mark. You also have to be saying that about yourself as you scale. And it is by no means a failure or shameful if you decide you're not. It is not that you have to be a Mark Zuckerberg or an Elon Musk who have the ability to run a company when it's 3 people amazingly well, and also do it when it's 300,000 people amazingly well. It's freakishly talented, and almost nobody can do that. And you take pride in the fact I'm really good as an early stage person. But I recognize that at this level, the types of things I have to be able to do, not only am I not very good at, but I don't really like it that much. And then you have to then wrestle with your ego about what do I do now? And I feel, Mark, uniquely qualified to lecture you on this, having been someone who faced that dragon and came to the conclusion that it was more important to me that Netflix be successful, and that I owed that to my investors, and I owed that to the rest of the team, to recognize that I didn't have the chops, or put it more specifically, that if I was doing this together with my partner, Reed Hastings, that was undoubtedly going to be a more successful outcome than me continuing to learn on the job by myself. Yeah. So, in other words, I'm partly saying don't worry about it, because your big responsibility is getting the company to the point you have to worry about it.
Yes.
And once you have, yes, there's going to be some long conversations with your wife. There's going to be some long conversations with your team. There's going to be some long conversations with yourself.
Yeah.
But if you think of the fact that you've built it successfully to the point that you're ready to begin thinking about, am I the right person? You've done an amazing, amazing job.